Hi friends, Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and my friend Gallie and I are here today to talk to you about some really awesome books that we think you might enjoy. Now both of these books are actually really different from each other, but they're both really awesome, so hopefully there'll be something here that interests you, one of them or maybe both of them. We'll have to wait and see. So the very first one is called The Weight of Ink. This is by Rachel Kadish. The Weight of Ink. I just love the simplicity and the beauty of this cover. You can see like all this text in the background that's kind of faded, and the words themselves look right like they've come right from a fountain ink pen. It's beautiful. And yes, this is a really long book. It's very heavy and thick, but don't be put off by that. This is a really beautiful, in-depth story that you're just going to want to sink into. You're going to love it. And what it's about, it's set in two different time periods. It goes back and forth. So it's set in the 1660s in London, and it has to do with this young woman named Esther, who is an immigrant from Amsterdam, and she has taken up a position of being a scribe for this rabbi. And so she notates all these things for him, and this is right before the plague happens in London. Fast forward to present day, and it features a historian named Helen Watts, who has been alerted to all these papers and documents that have been found in this old house that look like they are actually these documents. And she's trying to track down the history of them and who wrote them, because the author of them is obviously not the same person who wrote it, and Esther, when she was writing it, didn't use her actual name. She used a false name named Aleph, so she's trying to find that. And this book, it's so beautiful. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but if you're really into historical fiction, it's got a little bit of a mystery to it. Beautiful, sweeping saga. It is absolutely fantastic. It's got a lot of history of London in that time period. It also has a lot of Jewish history as well, which I don't know a lot about, so I was really interested to learn more about that. And it's just beautiful. You learn a lot about Helen's past as well, and the things she got to where she is, to help her to why and where she is today. This profound, scholar, and all the things in her life that got her there. And it's just an absolutely beautiful book. If you're looking for something to just lose yourself in, it's cold outside, you don't want to go out, we can't really do anything anyway because of the pandemic, this is a wonderful story to lose yourself in. And that is The Weight of Ink by Rachel Kadish. Now, switching gears for a second, this one is much different story. And this one is called Seven Devils by Laura Lamb and Elizabeth May. So two authors. As you can tell, even just the cover is way different from this first one. This is a science fiction book. But even if you're not a fan of science fiction, it's really fun adventure. I think you would totally enjoy it. And it is, because it's written by the two authors, they do a really interesting thing where each chapter goes back and forth between these different characters. And this is really a story of just rebellion and resistance. So think Star Wars. If you liked Star Wars and you liked watching these plucky rebels try to fight this overarching evil government, that's kind of what this is about too. So one of the main characters, Eris, was a princess of this monarchy, this tyrannical monarchy, and she fakes her death and leaves because she sees how horrible it is, and it's brought her to her knees basically with how awful her father and brothers are. So she's escaped and she's joined this resistance to try to fight back. And the other main character in this, his name is Clois, and she's a pilot of the ship, and they both are working in the rebellion. They don't really trust each other, but they have to, because they go on this mission where they have to like steal the ship and all these supplies from this monarchy, and it's absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of other supporting characters too that I don't want to give too much away about, because they are just absolutely such a joy to read about. This is a really fast-paced book. So even though it's not short, but it's not super long either, but you'll get through it pretty quickly because it keeps you on your toes. It's fast-paced. It never lets up for a minute. There's always something exciting happening. So if you're a fan of science fiction, even if you're not a fan of science fiction, it's a really great book about, like I said, resistance and fighting for what's right, and definitely about the underdogs. If you love a good underdog story, this is a fantastic one to jump into, and that is Seven Devils. Well, that's what we have for you guys today. I hope they both sound really interesting to you. If so, please feel free to put them on hold through the Farmington Community Library, or you can actually come into the building now because we are open to the public and for patrons. So feel free to come in and browse and pick up these books, maybe something else while you're there. We've got lots of new great things in to find and discover, so please come in, visit us. Thank you so much, my friends, and you have a wonderful rest of the day.